Hey guys, it's Nathan here. So let's go ahead and talk about navigation systems in your car. Right now I'm sitting in my 2016 Premier model Malibu. This particular car comes with its own built-in navigation system. I'll go ahead and demonstrate this one. So the nice thing about having this navigation that's built into the car is if I go out of cellular reception range, this system will still work. Think of it as like your old Garmin GPS back maybe 5 years ago, where you'd have to hook up to a computer to download the new maps. This is the same way. The only difference is these Garmin's back then included a lifetime map update, where this I think I have to pay about $100. It's through Chevy, but I really don't use it that much, just because it's about 3 years old. But I can just basically show you the interface here. This is my address, yes. So this is the music I have playing. It's really not the most intuitive. Let's see if I can go to one. So I can zoom in. Let's see if I can go to a destination. So it's like your old fashioned. You can do like a point of interest here. Let's see. Let's see. Let's search nearby. Let's do food. Let's try to find a Starbucks. Oh yeah, here's coffee shops. Sorry about the lighting and all that. So it looks like the closest Starbucks to me is about 0.6 miles. And then there you go. It's on Kipling Street. Pretty basic. I probably don't want to be doing this when I'm driving. There's also a voice command. Let me show you the voice command in this car. It's pretty rudimentary. I know like the new 2018-19 BMWs have more of a Siri-like voice command, but this is very basic. So I'm going to push the little talk button here.
Command, please.
Navigation commands.
What type of destination, address, intersection, place of interest, or contact?
Destination POI.
Name the POI nearby or say change location.
Starbucks.
Complete your selection from the radio display. Starbucks.
And then I guess they want me to physically push the one I want, and that's the same one I demonstrated before, the one Kipling Street. Okay, so that's a pretty basic system. I think the only positive side about it is, like I said, if I become out of cell service range, like if I'm going, out of the country, then this system is ideal. So let's talk about a different system. So Chevy kind of partnered with OnStar. It's actually up here. There's three little buttons. There's a regular kind of automated voice button, your live virtual assistant, and then this is like your 911 SOS button. The little green indicator means that I have an active subscription. I'm paying about $60 a month. It's kind of expensive, but it comes with like the roadside assistance, turn-by-turn directions. I think you could ask them like, helpful information, book hotels. I think you can do restaurant reservations as well. So let me just see if this works. I'm gonna push the blue button here. We'll just see how long this takes.
Connecting to OnStar.
And then it shows the OnStar advisor right there. Again, I apologize for the poor camera work.
No, we speak. How can I help you?
Yeah, can I get directions to Starbucks?
All right, and are you looking for a specific one?
Just the nearest one.
All right, I'll download those directions to your vehicle. You can fix out there.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And then they download it. So
I'll
Chevy
send your
had
destination
this.
now. There will be a few seconds of silence. And
Chevy had this for a long time. I think the first one was like 2004 was the first vehicle that offered it.
Your OnStar call has ended. Goodbye.
Again, then there you go. It doesn't really tell me what Starbucks it is. It just says Kipling. I'm pretty sure it's the same one. But that's basically how that. Now, let's try a more modern version. A lot of people have cell phones. This car supports Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. But just for the sakes of just keeping this setup simple, I just use a car mount. It's just, what I like about this mount is it actually goes right into my cup holder. And it's very sturdy. And it has a flexible hose I can just move around. I tried ones where you like mount up to your windshield, but after a while the suction cup would lose its grip and it would just fall down. I also tried ones with CD slots. That worked fairly well, but unfortunately this car does not have a CD player built in. But that's a minor thing. So let's go ahead and try it with Siri. This is probably the most modern way people do it these days. Navigate to Starbucks.
One possibility I see is Starbucks on Kipling Street. Do you want that one?
Yes.
Getting directions to Starbucks.
And you can see it's fairly quick. It's a lot quicker than the other solutions I just showed you. And then you can see it's just like right there. So let me show you the interface on this one. See. And it just kind of gives you that turn-by-turn directions. Yep, fairly basic. It gets the job done. I usually just go for my phone. I don't really use the car's navigation or OnStar, but it's just an option to have. And again, I'm not a huge fan of how this works, but one nice thing is if you do use the car's navigation, it will show the directions on this little screen here, which I'll show you. So let's see if we can focus back in, go into navigation, and there we go. It gives us the little turn by turn. I have the option to cancel the voice guidance or to mute the voice prompts, which is nice. So sometimes maybe I want to just listen to the radio and not be interrupted with the voices. I can just have the little arrows show up on this display, and this can just be different things. But for now, let's just cancel out of this. And then once the navigation's done, it just shows a little star icon or navigation icon. Unfortunately, you cannot get navigation directions to show up if you're using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It's only for the car's inbuilt GPS system or through OnStar. Now, to make things even harder, there's another way you can input destinations. If you have the remote service through OnStar, you can actually send directions to your vehicle using your smartphone. I'll show you that. So let's see if I can focus here. We go into my remote control apps. I have a bunch of things I control, but we'll focus on the My Chevy app. It works for the most part. I like it. So this is let's go back to the main menu here. Okay, so this is basically the home screen. To refresh it, you just kind of swipe down here, and it kind of updates. But basically gives you the most permanent information like your range, your vehicle status. You can get some plans you can look at, accessories, manual. But this is my preferred dealership. All the fun stuff. And this car is equipped with the Wi-Fi hotspot. The plan was originally $20 a month for unlimited data, which I thought was a great deal. And then they bumped up to $25, which is still a fairly good deal. And I use it a lot. So let's go ahead and go into the key fob. It basically mimics your physical key fob. So, you got your lock, your unlock, your start of the engine, your stop, and then you got your start and stop of the horn. This works anywhere where the car receives a cellular signal and that your phone has an active internet connection. So I could basically be in Texas and start my car up. I don't know why you do that, but that's just an option. So, like I said, let's go back and show you how the navigation directions work on this app. So here it is, send to vehicle. There's actually 3 ways you can send your directions. One is to the in-dash navigation, which will show the map, or you can do a more simplified version, which is just turn by turn, which will just show you arrows, but it will not show you a live map. And then finally, you can just use your native navigation as well. So let's say I just put in Starbucks just to make it simple. I can either do the voice thing or I can just type it in. I'll just type it in if I can. It's kind of a little hard to do on camera, but we'll see. There we go. Starbucks popped up. And we'll see. Did it go? It's thinking. Maybe not. Yeah, that was not the fastest. But yeah, it just gives you all those little blue pins are all the Starbucks that's near my area. Okay, there we go. So again, that one popped up. And then once you found the location, you can either click on it and it will give you 3 options. What did I do? Let me try that again. Sorry about that. There we go. So here are the 3 options. Send to Maps, that's just like through Apple Maps or Google Maps. Send turn by turn, that's the basic arrows, and then your in-dash is the car. So let's see how long it takes if I just say to the send to in-dash. So I think it's going to send a signal, beam the directions to my head unit, all wireless. Okay, is it gonna work? Is it doing something, or is it just gonna sit there? Oh yeah, there we go. And then there it is. And then this again is the full turn by turn. Yeah. And you notice it does the map. Now let me show you just a more basic, just the arrows. So let's send it to just turn by turn. It shows you the arrows.
Directions are now being sent to your vehicle.
Okay.
3795 Kipling Street is 1 mile and 3 minutes away. Start out going north on Oak Street.
Okay, and you can see it's very basic. It just gives you voice prompts and then just an arrow. And again, it can show up on this display. So this display will show you the direction you should be going and then distance to your next turn. Pretty basic. And last thing, let's show you the send to maps feature. And then this just jumps into your native app. If you're using Android, then it'll be Google Maps. If you're using Apple, it's iOS. I'm sorry. If you're using Apple, you're using the Apple Maps. One thing about the Apple Maps is if you have the Apple Watch, let's go ahead and push OK on the go button. Oh, did I do it? Let's try it again. Okay. Let me try to show you my Apple Watch here. Again, I apologize for the shaky camera here. Should show up on here. Yep, there you go. See, it's showing up on my Apple Watch. And then what it does is it gives me vibrations on when my next turn is. So, you know, all the systems have its pros and cons. If I'm using the in-dash, if I'm using my phone, or if I want to use OnStar here up here. There's a lot of options. Let's go over the pros and cons of each system. Let's talk about your phone. Your phone is probably the fastest. Either you can do it hands-free, or you can just pull down the button for Siri. For Android, it's going to be the OK Google. I think for the most part, I would just use my phone because it's the fastest and it's probably the most robust, since both Apple and Google are actively updating their the destinations and stuff. OnStar, I think it's kind of excessive, because you're talking to a live advisor, so you're waiting for them to connect through. So if they're busy, it may take a couple minutes to get to a live advisor. But since this is late at night, I was able to get to a live advisor fairly quickly. Since you're dealing with a human, you're gonna have human quirks. But I think the benefit of talking to a human is you can ask a very specific question like, hey, what's the best sushi restaurants in my area? Or if you don't know that, you can ask. Sometimes let me back up. So sometimes these voice assistants have trouble understanding what I'm trying to say, or they run into like a glitch. So for example, I was trying to go to a certain restaurant and had a weird name. It was called Payway. When I told Siri about it, it didn't really know how to. Maybe I wasn't pronouncing it right, so it just kept going to a weird address. But when I used OnStar, the advisor was able to quickly understand where I was going, and so that's probably a good reason is talking to advisors. They can probably understand a lot better than what Siri can do. And then the only reason I would use my car's navigation is if I was again out of service. So that's basically an overview of my navigation. I can use my smartphone, I can use the car's inbuilt navigation, I can use OnStar. Again, it's a little excessive. I think most people will just be happy using a smartphone, but that's just something I wanted to share. I might do a more in-depth review of OnStar and do one where I'm basically driving and show you how the navigation directions work. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, you can just give it a thumbs up. Have any comments? I'm more than happy to answer any technical questions. I do love technology. I'm a huge, techno buff. I was one of the first people to have a smartphone. I have a lot of hacks and tricks I've done with my car. And stay tuned, I'll show you some of them. Alright, thank you. Bye.